Well, good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner. Um, I'm having to run this live stream from my mobile phone. Would you believe that? This is more than crazy, man. This is just absolutely. Oh. Anyway, I didn't think I'd get. I'm glad you're able to see me at all. So what's the deal? Why am I having to do this from my smartphone? Why does it look like this? Okay, hold on. I am in my bedroom. I know you can't. Well, okay. Okay, here's what's going on, in case you guys don't understand. What's going on here is that YouTube has a new feature now, okay? And you have to have streaming software in your laptop or desktop in order to run a live stream. I don't know why this doesn't affect mobile. It doesn't. So, oh. There, that's better. I'm going to try to. Boy, I don't know. This is going to be one of the suckiest. Oh, for heaven's sakes. One of the worst live streams that you will ever see in your entire life on this YouTube channel. Yeah, this is going to suck dirt. Okay. Anyway, hold on. Because what I'm trying to do here is, I just got to get out of this for now. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to shut this for the night. I got to figure out how to do. I may do another test live stream later on. Again, like I said, I wanted to apologize. I know I'm kind of really getting close here, and I really want to apologize for this live stream. Let me set this like. Oh boy, this not gonna work. Boy, we're gonna have to. I'm trying to set this up so you guys can actually see me. And I do want you to be very, very, very patient with me. I hope you guys can actually hear me. What's the problem now? Yeah, I'm glad you said something. Hello there, Crazy Josh Cravey. I am so sorry about all of this, but you have to have streaming software now in your laptop or desktop, or YouTube won't work with you anymore. And I've got a Linux computer, so that part will not be a big problem. It's just setting the whole thing up so that YouTube will actually interface with it, and then we can finally run a proper live stream. Boy, this is gonna be worse than I thought, because I'm gonna turn my computer on here in just a little bit to try to give you guys some notes and whatever. I was gonna declare the video response winner tonight. I may or may not be able to do that now because they're stupid rules. This whole new live stream thing they got going on. Ugh. This is such an utter disaster. I'm not kidding you. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I said, sometime in the next week or two, I will run a test live stream to see if I can actually run things with this new software apparently that they've got. I don't know how I'll have to set it up, but we'll do what we can. And I am sorry about this. I know this is not the way you guys want to see me. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off. Well, that didn't improve anything. Let's turn it back on, shall we? Now you can see me. All right. So this is going to be the biggest disaster you've ever seen in your entire life. I am running a live stream from my phone. Now, the first thing I wanted to say is that I have 2 of the 4 sections of my next Kindle book complete. That's right. I have a Kindle book that's coming out called Did You Remember Everything? Okay. And 2 of the sections are complete. Mr. Holding, James Patrick Holding, has reviewed those 2 sections, and he says everything's fine, everything's great, and whatever. And he's going to review the other 2 just as soon as they're done. And I'm working on them as fast as furious as I possibly can. Now, I will tell you that when it comes to the other 4 books, I didn't get much feedback on those either, of any of those, really. And I'm sitting going, I wonder when they bought them, did they read the whole thing? And they're like, well, this was only like 40 pages long. Well, the books were only 40 pages long, but if you look at all the web references that I had in the books, you will find that the web references make the book a lot longer. Okay? So the idea was that even though there wasn't a whole ton of pages in the book, there was a lot of material, extra material I wanted you to cover and to learn, and then you get the picture. And if you don't, I'll explain it a little bit better, but I think a lot of you get the picture. We wanted you to actually use this as a study guide. All 4 of those books were study guides. And if you'd gone through them like a study guide, you would have understood what I was doing. Okay. I hope I don't have to hold this phone the entire time I do this live stream. I'm going to try. Oh boy. And I do really want you to be patient with me on this, because this is the first time I've ever had to run this thing off the phone. Let me go ahead and open this back up. Golly, this is going to be such a pain. Okay. It's not going to set up or nothing this way. I need something that's like... just brace a little bit. We need something really super heavy and super tall to get this thing out. Like I said, this is going to be a tough one for me tonight. I'm going to try to pull up my notes. So, there we go. I do appreciate everybody's patience on this stuff, because this was not what I had in mind at all. Okay. Yeesh. Oh boy. Boy, I need something that'll I can lay this on. I'm going to try every remedy I can think of. Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to try everything I can possibly think of. Oh, man, that's going to be too long. Anyway, as I continue to think about ways to do this, what are you going to find in my 5th Kindle book? This is very important, because if you're going to buy my 5th Kindle book, you want to know what's inside of it. The first thing I teach you guys is jokes. I teach you how to memorize jokes. Why is this important? Because let's say you're going out to a party or something like that, okay? And you go out to the party, you're celebrating whatever, and you have not a single thing in your mind to talk about. What are you going to do? Continue accessing your phone all the time? No. If you want to be the real life of the party, you need to have this stuff already in your head. And that way, it makes for pleasant conversation, and you don't have to turn to your phone all the time to have something to talk about. I know that's an easy way to do things, but it also shows your intelligence, especially if it's a work party. Let me tell you something. Where I work at, there is no free internet. Okay, I know some of these stores have free internet and you can just access it all you want. My store, we don't have that. Okay, where I work at, we don't have that free internet. And therein lies the problem. So I have all the stuff stored in my head and I could do these conversations and I don't have any problems. Now, the next thing I cover are interesting candy stories. Do you know how many kids Harry B. Reese actually had? Do you know how the payday candy bar was actually created? That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Well, anyway, as I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with this phone, I will go ahead and say this. That an ice cream truck was directly responsible for the invention of the Dove candy bars. And did you know that, trying to think here, I bet you do. Do you know what happened to all those real Wonka bars that they tried to sell back then when Gene Wilder starred as Willy Wonka? That's going to be in the book. You're going to find out. It's a very interesting story. There are all kinds of stories. These stories, you're going to be, I'm telling you. Do you know that Pepsi was not originally called Pepsi when it was first introduced? Do you know that Sprite was not its original name? Do you know what the letters A and W actually stand for? That's going to be in the book. And did you know that smartphones today would enjoy the old-time 7-Up more than you? Yep, one of the original ingredients in 7-Up would make a smartphone happy. Did you know that? That's going to be in the book. Now, that's section number 1. Section number 2 is going to involve James Burke. Now, in case you have not ever heard of James Burke before, and most of you who have ever watched me have actually heard of James Burke, okay? James Burke created a television show called Connections. Yay! Anyway, when James Burke created his Connections TV show, then there were things in that show. Now, he also wrote two books. James Burke wrote 2 books. One was called Connections. The other one was called American Connections. And some of the material that I will be discussing in my Kindle book will come from those Connections and American Connections books. Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay. Now then, there'll also be some theological material in the end of the book. So, just thought I'd let you know that. All righty. Now, what's the next thing we're going to do tonight? Well, we're going to do a special edition of the Video Response Wars. So, for those of you out here, yes, Crazy Josh Cravey, you actually won the video responsor. Yeah, boy, I'm going to have a tough time tonight between this software and everything else. Crazy Josh Cravey, you won the Video Response Wars this week, and that's because you sent me a lot of videos, and I'm trying to catch up as best as I can, but as I said, I've been writing this 5th Kindle book, and when it's released, I want you to go through the whole thing. I really do. I want you to read through it and explore it and learn from it, because, man, the stuff in there, you would be the life of any party. You really would. And if you're having conversations at work or whatever, man, they'd find you so utterly interesting that they'd want to give you a raise. And that's no joke. Okay, so I saw some kind of a Star Wars thing that you had There was one like a preview thing, and then there was the second one you put up that showed your review of Rise of Skywalker. I haven't gotten to the second one yet, but I went through the first one, and the only thing I'm going to say about the first one is that Disney also owns the Muppets, and I'm not happy about that because they've pretty much ruined the Muppets. I'm not kidding you. What the Muppets are today is nothing like what I was watching back in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, so not happy about that. But anyway, I also watched your video entitled Dead Teddy, and I have some questions for you. All right. Why is Jim holding a banana? Why didn't Teddy ask Jim what poem he was quoting? And what poem was Jim quoting? Why did Teddy think that she hadn't accomplished anything in her life? Why didn't Teddy ask Jim more questions? Why did Jim reanimate Teddy? How did Jim die anyway? Why did Jim choose Teddy at all? He could have chosen anybody. Interesting questions. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Going down the list. Okay, we're going too far. Oh, yes. Your music video entitled Anymore. How did you sleep with your guitar without damaging the guitar? That's an interesting question. How cold was it when you recorded the video? You had some of the video, it was done outdoors. And I was wondering, man, how cold was that? I mean, was it like super freezing cold? Now, this is interesting. We did have a couple of days here in Illinois that were really blustery cold. After that, it got real warm after that. We've hardly had any snow at all. Most of the stuff that came through this last time was rain. We did have snow overnight, but we also then had rain. So that was interesting. All righty. How much snow did you actually receive? Now, according to the lyrics, why can't you and whoever it was that you were with, why can't you guys get along? There we go. Much better. Why? Okay, what have you tried to do to make your relationship work? What were you arguing about? What were you supposed to agree on? Now, I saw the classroom in your video. What course was being taught in that classroom? What options were you supposed to consider? Now, there was another video, and Molly was in it, and I'm hoping Molly is there. If she is, hello, Molly. Anyway, the cereal dilemma. Here's my questions. What brand of milk was Molly using? What was the rainbow stuff Molly placed in the bowl? Does Dasani own the almond milk company that made Molly's almond milk? Okay. So, feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. Or you can tell me live. I don't care either way. I'd love to hear your answers. Okay, now let's go on. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover tonight, and this is actually the last thing I'm going to cover tonight, one of my students actually watched 3 minutes of my Navigating My YouTube Channel 2019 video. And she had some questions for me. And the main one was, why did I teach... Oh, go away. Okay, the main question was, why do I teach so much stuff in one particular video? Well, I'm going to go through the video step by step, correct a couple of things that actually were wrong in the video. You're like, wait a minute, you actually made some mistakes. I actually did, mainly because I really wasn't thinking about it at the time. And when I do my Navigating My YouTube Channel 2020 video, I will correct some of those mistakes. But at the time, I just wasn't thinking clearly, and I did make some mistakes, and I'm going to go over some of that stuff with you. So bear with me on this. All right, so how does the video start? Well, the video starts by letting people know exactly what's on my channel. I mean, if you guys don't even know what's on my channel, why watch the intro? Now, the video was designed for you people that have laptops or desktops. Why did I focus on that? Okay, mainly because part of this channel is devoted to computer tech. Okay, and what I'm trying to get you people to do, I know that a lot of you people have been watching me on your smartphones, and that's okay, that's fine, but you can't design web stuff on a smartphone. Okay, not very easily anyway. You have to have special stuff, and it's ridiculous, and I wouldn't go through it. But that was the thing. I wanted you guys to design things on a laptop or a desktop and to get used to that, because a lot of workplaces, including libraries, they don't have smartphones. Some of them have smartphone apps, but they don't work the same way. They actually have computers that they actually look at and you have to use. And you might as well get used to using a laptop or desktop until everybody switches over to a smartphone app. And hopefully they won't do that, because the screens are so utterly small, and for some of us, we're getting a little older, we need things a little bit bigger. Anyway, let's go on. Now, about 45 seconds in, I tell you guys about my other YouTube channels, my Facebook fan page. Now, when I do the 2020 video, I'm not going to just mention one fan page, but I'm going to mention two of them, because I actually have two fan pages. One is the Speed Learner fan page, and one is just devoted to Route 66 signs and looking for Lincoln signs. That's all it's there for. Okay? Now, if people want to add signs that they found all the rest of the country, they can do that, but that's what that was its original design. Okay? People to my Instagram page, because I want them to see all these Red Nose Day photos I took, and my Patreon page. And I know a lot of people have never even seen my Patreon page, and I need to start putting stuff on my Patreon page so people will actually, basically subscribe to my Patreon page. All right. At a little after a minute and 30 seconds of the video, I start teaching everybody how to find the content when you're watching my videos on a desktop or laptop. Now, I do plan to make a separate video that will show you how to operate everything on your smartphone, and also how to operate things when you're on your TV. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to do that because my hours increased at work, and I need to make notes and the whole 9 yards, and you get the idea. Okay? Now, why do I teach my students what a web browser is? And this is going to start leading to some mistakes I made in my video. Okay? Mainly because they just think it's some kind of piece of whatever on the screen. It's actually a container. That's what a web browser is. It's actually a container that contains other stuff. It contains text, it contains hyperlinks, so on and so forth. And they don't understand that concept. They don't know what a text box is. They don't know what a text area is. They don't know what the imaging tag is or anything else. Okay? And I want them to understand this because I want them to know exactly what they're looking at. I want them to know the term web browser. Why? Because it makes them sound smarter. And when they sound smarter, they do things better. Okay? So, that's why I teach them about web browsers. Now, what's the problem with the web browser introduction? Okay, now I did say it was a container, and that's exactly what it is. What does it contain? A lot of stuff outside of the text. Okay, text is one thing, but the other stuff is basically just hyperlinks. And what it says is, instead of displaying the hyperlink where this picture is, just display the picture. That's what those imaging tags do. They actually tell the web browser, if you're doing imaging tags in HTML, that tells the web browser that instead of displaying the hyperlink where you can actually find the photo that you have stored somewhere, Instead, I want you to actually display the photo. Same thing with the video URLs. Okay, when you put that video tag up there, and I've shown you this in my HTML lessons, when you put that video tag up there, what you're saying is, instead of displaying the hyperlink, which will take people to that particular video, I just want you to display the video itself. Getting the picture? And that's where I was getting the errors. Now, what about the magnifying glass? That was another thing I had mentioned in my video. When you see that magnifying glass and you click it, what actually happens is that magnifying glass is actually connected to your favorite search engine. If you notice on your web browser, when you get your web browser all set up and ready to go, it will say, what search engine do you want to use? Well, that affects the magnifying glass, because if you say, hey, I want to use the Google search engine all the time, when you click that magnifying glass, it's going to send your request to the Google search engine. Now, if you're doing this on YouTube and you click the magnifying glass, YouTube has its own separate. Why? Because it's going to look for videos first, then it's going to look for any text. Whereas with the Google search engine, it's going to look for text first, then possibly videos. It's going to do it in the reverse. And that's an error I made, and I am sorry about that. Okay? I also taught people about hyperlinks. Why is it so important to know the term hyperlink? Because it makes you sound smarter. That's why. Okay? And I also taught everybody about address bars. This is where you're going to use the Uniform Resource Locator service. Now, I know how many people have actually said, well, that's universal resource locator. The exact reason why it has to all be uniform. Because if you have a resource that's designed one way on one server, and then you have a resource that's designed a different way on a different server, the web browser is going to get confused and not going to know what to display. Okay, so everything that's on the web is all uniform. It's all one set of code. That's what the HTML is. HTML works the same way on Google's web browser as it does on Apple's web browser, as it does on Firefox's web browser. That's the truth. And JavaScript is the same way. If you use JavaScript on Google search engine or Google's web browser, if you use the JavaScript on Google's web browser or Firefox's web browser or Apple's web browser, it'll all work the same way. If it didn't, you'd have a mess. That's why it's called Uniform Resource Locator instead of Universal. I know it's universal because it's literally everywhere, but it's more important to call it a Uniform Resource Locator. Much more important. And now you see why. It would be the equivalent of trying to find information, and in box number A, all the information is written in English. Box number B, all the information is written in Italian. And box number C, or letter C, I keep saying number, but letter C, okay, letter C, all the information is written in Spanish. Well, if you don't know Italian and Spanish, you're not going to know what to do with boxes B and C. You're not. That's the way it works. That's why we have to have a Uniform Resource Locator. Okay? Why do I teach them the acronym World Wide Web? To make them sound smarter. Remember, we're supposed to be teaching these kids who watch this video things that will make them sound and look smarter. That's the whole point of this channel. It's an educational channel. Whoops. Okay, so I've now taught them the acronym WWW. I've taught them about the magnifying glass, etc., etc., etc. I think you're finally getting the point. All right, now, I explained search engines to these students of mine. Why? Because if you don't explain how a search engine actually works, how are they ever going to find you? I also tell these people how to find me specifically, because I went to the Decatur celebration, told them who I was and how to find my YouTube channel. And I told them, I said, when you type the name Speed Learner into the Google search box, the name Speed, I told them not to separate the words speed and learner. And right in front of me, after giving them the exact same instruction, they put a space between the words speed and learner. And then they wondered why they couldn't find me. Right in front of me, they did that. I'm like, that is not what I told you guys to do. They can't follow instructions. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Anyway. Now then, I also taught people about keywords and tags and how when you put a keyword into the search engine, whichever one you're using, I personally use DuckDuckGo. And I get a lot of search engine results that are a lot different than the Google search engine. I really do. Okay? And then I taught people about YouTube banners. Now, I know on the phone you don't see the YouTube banner for Speed Learner, or anybody else for that matter, but on the desktop or laptop you do. Okay? I also taught them about the featured video. I don't know why the smartphone version of YouTube does not have the featured video on there. I wish they did, because it would make things a lot easier. But they don't. Okay. And then, I know you would find this really hard to believe, but there are a lot of people out there who do not know how to operate the YouTube video controls. And they're the same type of video controls that you would find a lot of times on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything else for that matter. They're not all that complicated, but there you go. Now, what about those words that are up on the top of my main channel page? You see community, videos, playlists. I teach them this kind of stuff because if you click videos, you see a whole list of my videos. You click playlists, and you see a whole list of my playlists. If you click community, you get to see what I've been talking about on my community tab, etc., etc., etc. But they don't know that because they've never clicked any of these things. And I feel it's important for them to do so. Okay? Now, I also tell people about the YouTube clock. Why? Because you can actually add videos of mine to a watch later playlist on your channel. That way, if you want to watch my video at a later time, you certainly can. You just go through your watch later, find my video, and there you go. You don't have to search for it again. You just go through your watch later playlist, and there you go. Which I think is kind of convenient. All right. And then, of course, I explained the controls on the left-hand side of my YouTube page, which means that they can now find playlists, people I'm subscribed to, etc., etc., etc. They can find all kinds of information over there. And then I take them to the upper right corner of the screen, and I show them all the controls up there, where they can go to live streaming or find other information. You get the whole idea. The video basically discusses all this. And I also explain the YouTube logo that on a desktop or laptop shows up on the upper left, which means if you click it, you see other new videos. Not necessarily from me, but from everybody. Okay? Now, the final thing on that particular video is the teaser click box, which appears on the top right corner, not only on the desktop or laptop when you're watching a video, but also on videos that appear on your smartphone. This would take them from video to video to video. This is very important if you're watching the Looking for Lincoln playlist, if you're watching the mathematics playlist, the Euclid's Elements playlist, etc., etc., etc. You can just go from one video to the next, and you don't have to hunt them down. Okay, now I know I don't have every one of those click boxes fixed, and one day I will, but I just haven't got that all done yet. But that's a lot of information on just one video. Think about that. Think about how much information I have packed into one video. Just from that one video alone, you end up being about 25 to 30% smarter. And if you click on the click box that appears on the upper right corner of that video, it takes you to yet another video where I teach you briefly how to speed read, and then I tell you how to memorize things faster and to keep them in your head a lot longer. And yes, this memory workbook I'm getting ready to sell, which is entitled Did You Remember Everything, is exercises based on what I told you on my navigating video. See what I mean? So I have packed a ton of information in one video. Very important information, I might add, which means you can actually find all the other videos you need to find on my channel and why they're there the way they are. So hopefully that cleared up a lot of stuff when you're watching the Navigating My YouTube Channel 2019 video. There will be a Navigating My YouTube Channel 2020 video at some point when the hours get relieved a little bit, or I end up with a bunch of days off. And I'll take care of that. So, anyway, that's all the material I have for you guys tonight. So, Crazy Josh Cravey, has Molly been watching any of this? Because I actually did review your cereal thing. Anyway, but I just thought I'd go through and give you all this information. And like I said, I'm sorry about the way I actually explain things on my Navigating My YouTube Channel 2019 video. I did not explain it very well, and for me, that's a big apology right there. So, basically, the things I messed up was basically I didn't tell you how the HTML tags work on a web browser. And more importantly, I didn't tell you how the magnifying glass connects to the search engine that you use most often. A lot of you use the Google search engine. I use DuckDuckGo. And I would recommend DuckDuckGo because you'll get better search results on a lot of things. Not everything, but a lot of them. So hopefully you understand all that now. Or comprehend, as my English teacher. My English teacher would be having a fit right now if she knew I was throwing in the word understand when I should be using the word comprehend. Now, there is one other thing that I'm going to ask from all of you guys. It involves my Kindle book, my next one that's coming out. I need some information. I will be posting in the description below a hyperlink to an article. I've read through it, but I don't comprehend all the technical details of it. And I need you guys to actually read it and then tell me what was really going on. I know that the company in that particular article was doing something wrong, otherwise they wouldn't have gotten in trouble with the federal government. I just don't know what they were doing wrong. I kind of get an idea of it, but I just don't know for sure exactly what they were doing wrong. And so you guys can decipher it and tell me what they were actually doing wrong. That would be great. I don't know if you could read it, Crazy Josh Cravey, but maybe one of your professors at college can, and then tell me what these people were actually saying. That would be really nice. So if you could do that for me, or, I mean, if Survival on a Budget Made Easy could do that, if he knew somebody that could actually read that stuff and tell me what these people were actually doing wrong, that'd be great. So let's see how that goes. Anyway, I know this has been the most bizarre and unusual live stream I've ever run in my life. I didn't think I'd have to run a live stream from my phone, but until I get this software fixed, there you go. So, I do want to thank you very much for all being patient with me and letting me do this. It was wonderful to be on here tonight. I'm glad I was able to run this live stream and let you guys do this. And one more announcement. On March the 3rd at Richland Community College, I will be there for the weather conference. There is going to be a weather conference on March the 3rd at Richland Community College here in Decatur, Illinois. I will be there to get my weather training. If you guys want to show up there, please show up. I would love to see you. All right, and you guys will learn a lot while you're there. So for those of you who live in and around Decatur, Illinois, if you want to show up to that weather conference, I believe it starts at about 6:30. I'm going to show up a little earlier just so I make sure I get a good seat. Show up, you'll learn a lot. It's 2 hours, and then you become a certified weather spotter. I've been a certified weather spotter for years, and I intend to continue that. So if you want to see me, there I will be. All right. I will try to do some kind of a live stream around my birthday time. And like I said, I'm going to try to do a test live stream at some point. Just another question for you guys. How you guys been enjoying my Nintendo Let's Play videos? I've been walking you through The Legend of Zelda and also Mega Man X. I will try to finish up Mega Man X at some point this summer. Also, I'm going to try to finish up The Legend of Zelda in the next month or two. I do hope to get up a live stream in or around my birthday. Ugh. Anyway. So I know that things have not been running the way I had hoped to run them tonight. I will get that all straightened out. When I do, I will start running live streams the way they should be run. I do want to thank you guys very much for watching this presentation tonight. I look forward to Crazy Josh Cravy's answers, and I also look forward to more and more of your videos. Just the book is finished, I'm going to go ahead and start making notes, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do more live streams. Okay. I've also been told that at some point in the future, I may be getting a few less hours. This is also due to little mini vacations I'm going to be taking in the not so distant future. So bear with me. The live streams are coming. I just had a unique opportunity tonight, and I decided to get on here. I'm sorry YouTube played games with me tonight. Not very happy with them. I guess we're going to have to give another tutorial, and I will do that. So, I did install a piece of software tonight. Let me see if I can pull this up. If you guys are running Ubuntu Linux, if you go to your terminal box, okay, there we go. If you go to your terminal box in Ubuntu Linux and you type in sudo apt-get install ffmpeg, you will install a streaming software into your computer. I don't know how to work yet, but go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and put also your password in there, and that should work. Whew. Anyway, so I recommend you guys installing FFmpeg. Okay, it's FFmpeg. Install that into your Ubuntu Linux, and it should work with your webcam. We're gonna test it out here a little bit, or whatever, whenever I get a chance. But we'll test that and see how it goes. Again, I want to thank you guys very much for watching this. One of the things I'm going to also do in my next live stream, I bought a Soul Clicker MP3 player, a Soul Clicker MP3 player, and I'm going to go ahead and review it on my next live stream whenever it happens. So hopefully you guys will be able to see that and some other stuff as well. Like I say again, I appreciate all you guys' patience, and I appreciate all your comments. And next time we do a live stream, if I have to do it from my phone, I'll try to figure out some way to do it so that I'm not floating around and looking like this all night. But this became a good way for me to do a live stream tonight without having to go through a whole rigmarole. And we'll see what we can do next time I'm on. All right, this is Ted the Speed Learner signing off. If you have comments, if you have questions, if you have anything, any kind of feedback at all, make sure to leave it down here in the description below. And I'll tell you more in any future videos, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. I'm going to turn this off.